Hi Shumis, in this tutorial I'll be learning how to make this beautiful cowl neck dress. Actually the my ring light wasn't working at this moment, so you can't really see the beauty of this dress. I don't know why, I'm just so disappointed with what I'm seeing right now. Anyways, as you can see, it has a lacing at the back which you can use to adjust the fitness. You can actually make it as fitted as you want because of this back lacing. So I have just 2 yards of fabric here. Yes, I was able to manage 2 yards of fabric. I can actually get away with this because I'm a small size, so you'll be needing more if you're actually bigger than I am. So if this looks like what you like to learn, then you need to watch this video to the very end. My name is Veronica Adams Eze. Welcome to Vera Adams YouTube channel. Without wasting time, let's get right into the video. So right here I've already gone ahead to draft a simple basic bodice. If you don't know how to do this, you can check my previous video. I have about a couple of videos showing you how to do this. On this pattern paper I just have 35 inches length, and I'm looking at about 59 inches for the length of this dress. So I'm going to have to add to it when I'm cutting out on the fabric. Moving on, I'm going to go down by 1 inch, yes, for the neck depth, and I have a neck width of 3 inches. I'll go ahead and close the dart because I don't want a dart on this dress, so I'll go ahead and close the dart right here. It's okay if you want a dart on your dress, so just do whatever you want. Now that that has been closed, I can go ahead to start cutting it out since I have the measurement marked out already. Please note that I'm using this pattern paper to cut out for both the front and the back, but I'll first go ahead to use this to cut out the back. So here is the fabric. I'll go ahead and fold so that we can cut out the back piece. Since there was no seam allowance added to the pattern, I went ahead to add it to the fabric. I actually added about 2.5 inches to the side, and this is because this dress has to be free because of the lacing that would eventually be added to the back. This means that the original seam allowance is 1 inch, then I added 1.5 inches for it to be free. Remember that this dress does not have a zipper. Kindly note that the length has been added to the fabric. So right here on the fabric I have about 59 inches. The half is for folding at the hem. Now that we're done cutting out the back piece, we can now move on to the front piece. But before cutting it on the fabric, we have to move back to the pattern paper. So here is the pattern paper that we used to cut out the back. Now we can go ahead to trim out the armhole for the front since we are done with the back. So once this is done, I'll go ahead to slash open around the chest line, although not completely. Please do not slash it off completely. Once this is done, we can go ahead to open up this slash as much as you want, and of course this depends on the amount of fabric that you have and how much you want the cowl to drop and how much you're willing to expose. So if you don't want to expose so much, from 6 inches, 6.5 to 7 inches is fine, but anything above 7 inches means that you want to expose your cleavage. And of course you need to be working with the amount of fabric that you have. So depending on how much fabric you have, you can do as much cowl effect as possible. So right here is the remnant of the fabric. I've gone ahead to fold it. So the folded part, I'm pinning the pattern paper right on it. Please make sure that that you have the length that you want. Yes, I've already ensured that the length I have is enough for me right here. So once that is done, I'll go ahead to spread out this slash. So I want about 6 inches to 6.5 inches is fine for me, since I don't want you to expose anything. Once I have that, I'll go ahead and pin the upper part exactly at that point. While I was doing this, I actually completely opened up that part here, as you can see right here. But anyways, I'm just going to manage it, and from the neckline region I'm going to connect, as you're seeing me doing, to the folded part. So right at this edge I'm going to cut out, just as you're seeing me doing here. Make sure you follow exactly the same way I'm cutting it out. This cutting will be a lot easier if this slash part is not completely cut out. Now I'll go ahead to add seam allowance to this. Ensure that it is the same seam allowance that I added to the back piece that you're adding to the front piece. So since I added 2.5 inches to the back piece, I'm going to go ahead to also add 2.5 inches to the front piece. Once this is done, make sure to create a notch at the neck width, because this is the part that would be joined to the back piece shoulder line. So here is what we have after removing the pattern paper. You can see what it's looking like. See the notches that we placed that will represent the shoulder line. Once you put those parts up, then the cowl effects will be seen as so. So this is a glimpse of what we would have once we're done with making of this dress. Now I'm moving on to cutting a facing for this part. So make sure that you use the exact fabric that you're using for the dress. The length of this facing depends on the amount of fabric that you have, but still it is best for you to come below the armhole area. So right here I'm doing about 3 inches below the armhole area, so I'll go ahead to cut it out just as you're seeing me doing. Once we're done cutting this, we can go ahead to unpin and start coupling these pieces together. So I have the center part of both the front piece and the facing. So I'm going to go ahead and pin it right here, starting from the center, that's the middle, till I get to that point where I notched, which represents the shoulder line that will be joined to the back piece. So once I'm done with this part, I'll move ahead to the right side as well and pin it down. Once I'm done pinning, I'll take this to the sewing machine, sew with 1/2 inch and run a top stitch on the facing piece. So we're going to set this aside to work on the back piece. So for the back piece, we're going to be making use of a bias tape to actually turn the neckline, just as you're seeing me doing here. So this is what we have after I was done with the neckline for the back. This is how neat it is looking. So now we can go over to the front piece. And this is what we have after I went ahead to stitch down and run a top stitch on the facing. So what I'm trying to do here is to lay this properly so that the cowl effect can be seen. So you can see how I'm laying it. I'm starting from that part that we notched. Remember that I said that from the part that we notched, that's where the shoulder line connects to the back piece. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to connect what we have on the back piece shoulder line to what we have here. Since I have it properly pinned, I can now take this to the sewing machine, and this is what I have after I was done stitching down. So the next thing to do is just to make sure that you align the facing of the front at the side so that you don't have anything shifting. So just make sure to align, just as you're seeing me doing here, align the facing of the front at the side, the two sides. Now I can go ahead to close this up at the side, but before I do that, I have to bring in the lacing. So I need the lacing to start from the waist area. So I'm going to go ahead to measure 16 inches from the shoulder line, and then I'll place a notch right there. At that point, I'm going to go up by 1 inch and come down by 1 inch. So that means I'll be having three notches for the 3 lacings. So once I have this, please note that these notches that I'm placing is on the back piece, because the lacing is going to be on the back piece. So here I have my bias tape. You know how you have the regular bias tape, I went ahead to fold it in, so that is why I have it very tiny like this. So I actually went ahead to cut it in about 2 inches length. I've gone ahead to fold this into 12. So the space in between this fold is where rope is going to pass through for us to get the perfect lacing. So I'm going to go ahead to pin it down. If you note, I'm not pinning it down at the edge of the side. This is because I really have just a little bit of bias tape left. So I remember that I left 1 inch for the side allowance. That's for joining at the side. So if I should place it at the edge, what I would have at the end of sewing on the side would be too small. But if you have enough bias tape, you can go ahead and place it directly at the edge of the side. I hope you understand this. So I've successfully pinned. So once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and bring in the front piece so it can cover it up just as you're seeing me doing here, and I can then move ahead to stitch it down right from the armhole area to the hem of this fabric. So now this is it after I went ahead to stitch down. This is the wrong side. I'll show you what it looks like on the right side. So here is what it looks like on the right side. You can see how everything is looking. Actually, at the end, I went ahead to attach one more so as to make it 4. I felt like the 3 is just too small, but you can actually do 3. 3 is okay. But I went ahead to attach one more, making 4, just the same way. So now I can go ahead and make sure that you align this side that you've already done with the other side that you're yet to do. Make sure that everything is aligning well. Then you follow the mark. That's exactly where you placed the ones that we already did. Go ahead and follow that part and then place notch. Now you have 2 notches. That's where it is starting and when it is ending. So just watch as I am doing it. Once you're done notching, we can go ahead to lay this part flat. Remember that it is still on the back piece. Make sure that you're doing this on the back piece. So I'm still following the same process that I did for the first side. I'm not attaching directly at the edge because, just like I said earlier, I have limited limited bias tape, so I had to just make use of it. So I'm going ahead to pin down. Actually, it's not easy to pin down. If it wasn't for the sake of the tutorial, it's best to just sew immediately. Just hold it that way you want it to be and just run a stitch right there. Anyways, once I was done pinning down, I went ahead to bring in the front piece to cover it up and sew along the sides with 1 inch. Before you go ahead to sew this, make sure that the loops that you're making, that they are laying flat, so that you don't end up stitching it on the wrong side. That means you don't end up stitching it wrongly. Also, while I was sewing, I went ahead to fold the front facing inwards just like this, so that we don't have the rough edges visible. So at this point I was done, and this is what it looks like. I'll go ahead and turn it to the right side so that we see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. I have 4 on both sides. If this is your first time here and you actually found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up by clicking on the like button, and do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, thank you for always watching. Now go ahead to hem the bottom of this dress. I'll also go ahead to attach the sleeves off camera. So for the rope at the back, I'm going to be needing a lot of strips to actually make the rope, because the rope has to be quite long. As you can see, I already attached the sleeves, and I also went ahead to hem the bottom of the dress. So now I'll go ahead to bring in the rope, which I also did off camera. Should you have any question and you'd like me to respond, feel free to drop it in the comment section. I will definitely give you a response. So right here I have the ropes. Make sure that whatever rope that you are doing, the width of the rope is smaller to what you have as the space between the loops that you created, because you don't want to make a rope that is actually wider than the loops to give you a tough time. The essence of this is to just make the waist area fitted. So that means if you want to do that, the dress that you're making has to be a bit free, because if your dress is already very fitted, it would really kill the essence of this style. So the essence of this style is to have a free dress, but that you can adjust however you want it, just to make the waist region fitted. Once you're done with the lacing, you can now go ahead to adjust it to the best fit for you. So the more you pull, the more fitted it gets. And now we've come to the end of this tutorial. I will see you in my next one. Bye.